Right, today's video, this is an old toilet. As you can see, this toilet is maybe like 45 years old, originally installed in the 70s. They use these sort of valves. I had to buy one from eBay, about £4 something. These things are pretty reliable. I don't know about this plastic version. I know the metal versions lasted so many years. Uses a float on one end. See this bit here? That bit there is that end bit there, and that large screw is that large screw there. Guessing there should be a rubber washer between. Now that is rubber, that's fine. The mechanism is the float goes up and switches it off. But it just seems a little bit, to me, a little bit kind of straight, and you can adjust it here. So I would have thought that the float would drop down a lot more and the water should come out here. So old fashioned, I haven't worked out what this is yet. Hopefully, yeah, it should fit my very old system here. So I'll give you a proper look. So the first job is to twist that float off, because I want to reuse that. You can buy them, those floats, but I'm just going to reuse this. If it doesn't come off, we're going to have to buy a new one. Right. That's for removing old-fashioned oil filters. I tried using the one that looks like this. It's way too big, way too small, sorry. So you can see what I'm going to do. I'm going to loop it around the ball, twist it around a couple of times, and in the direction of lefty loosey, you know, righty tighty, whatever. So that's on the ball. Because I don't think I'll be able to do it on hand, although I haven't really tried. Right, I'm not getting the best of angles here. Let me just improve the angle here. Just going to get you a better shot of what's going on. I should try and turn it by hand before I try to use something like this, but let's see if it comes up. Let's try a nut that was crushing the ball, which is not good. Before I was putting on. Okay, nut comes undone after 50 years. Hopefully this will turn by hand. Oh, it does. Okay. So don't use that removal tool for filters. If you can, just do it by hand. I didn't do it very hard, hopefully I didn't crush the ball. It's not leaking. Shake it, nothing in there. Let's clean it off. It's quite, look at that, 50 years later, the brass thread is still clean. Excellent. Let me just clean up the ball. So give you a clearer view. So once the ball has been removed, the arm just drops down and that will open up the valve. So I've been spraying WD-40 using wire brushes to brass wire brushes to clean these down. I was thinking maybe this had to come off, but when the actual unit arrived, yeah, I thought, oh, okay. Yeah, no, this did not have to come off. It doesn't come off separate. I thought it would be a nightmare to remove here from here, that shaft, but actually it comes off from here. So that makes it a lot simpler. So let's do that. Looks at least a 19, that one, maybe a 20, 21, something like that. Right, let's see. I've got a blowtorch ready to put some heat on this. I will try without heat. If it is an issue, I'll put some heat on it. So totally underestimated that one. Larger than a 24. This, right, I haven't got I do not have a spanner big enough for that. I think it's like a 25, even a 26. I've got a 32, but that's too big. As you can see, it's 9-degree joint. 9-degree joint. However, there's no shut-off valve. If something goes wrong, something will really go wrong. So I'm not going to use too much force. I'll just sort of feel for it. Hopefully, I'm going to do it in the direction of normal threads. I'm just going to see if it turns. If it turns, that'll be good. If it don't, I'll heat it up. That's not turning. Okay, it doesn't want to turn. I didn't really put a lot of force on there, but that would be the right spanner for the job. But these threads have been in for years and years. I've got a much bigger leverage here. Sometimes it just helps just to change it around. Should be just. I'm not going to put a lot of force in. Be careful when you do this. If you've got no shut-off valve, be careful. Just going to get a feel of it. Centre them jaws. Oh, that did turn. Okay, that turned. Alright, okay. So the larger leverage just gave me that extra oomph I needed. See, I'm just worried, if I twist really hard, imagine I wrenched really hard, what will happen here? This will be a very, very bad, sad day. So if this was not turning, with that extra little bit of leverage, I would have resorted to straight away resort to a blowtorch. Now you'll need PTFE tape, go around the thread. Also you will need a bit of plumber's putty, just to give it that extra seal. Right, now before I take everything off, I want to get that undone and get the inside undone. The outside is going to be easier. Switching spanners. These are really good. I'll put a link in the description for this one. So I'll put a link in the description for the big spanner as well. This one's quite handy. That one does look like a 32. I've got big enough spanners. This is quite tricky, isn't it? Yeah, well, I think before see how small a jaw is, I'm not going to. 32 does not fit. I think it's a 34. I'll try the same tool. The reason I don't take this all the way off, it would just lose its foothold. Reasonably close. And you need kind of spanners like this. The other classical plumbers, not spanner, but pliers, is this one. This one's the one I'm using now. It's got a nice flat edge to it. Large, go really large. You might be able to get flush on this as well. Let's have it out of the way. It's just got that little thing sticking out there, preventing it from gripping properly. Just wondering about this one. So these ones you can adjust. They're really quite large. Don't think this nut will be as tight as the one previously. Centre jaw is not really gripping. The angle. Okay, I did that. It's just about grabbed it. Okay, there's that one loose. 50 years later it comes undone. There's no seal there. Although occasionally leaks. Right, okay. Inside one. Give you a good quick view on that. Hopefully I've got the tool for it. So what I mean is the equivalent large nut, maybe the 34 the inside. Look how much stuff is on there. So I will use a wire brush to get rid of some of that. And now this thread is going to have to go the opposite way, isn't it? So that's going to be a bit of an issue. Although really I can just leave that nut and just push it through. Sort of push it to the left. As long as I take this one off, it should, in theory, go that way, to the left. I'll have a go anyway. I'll clean it off first. It's a wire brush, brass. I'm sure it's going to be pretty effective. At least it'll make the push through a bit easier. And I have put WD-40 on there. I've just got a feeling that other nut is never going to turn. I probably need a pry bar or something, but we'll try and turn it. Okay, you know what I'm doing. I don't need to give you an overhead, I think. Actually, as soon as I put this in there, it starts shifting. So I think we'll need to turn that. I need to get something to catch the water. So keeping the original nut. There is PTFE cut one here I can see. That should just come off. Should have done this ages ago. Okay. I'll clean down this toilet cistern. So there's a better seal, and that's it really. It's not done, I'm going to keep that nut. Like that. Right, I'll clean it down and install a new system. Well, I won't fill it for you to see because I've got to do another one. So I'm just going to use this as a guide. I didn't undo that, so I'm going to keep it exactly the same. Looks exactly the same length otherwise. Apart from the washer, of course, that is there. So I've got 2 washers, got to compensate for 2 washers. Apart from that, so I might have to wind it in a bit more because of the 2 washers. Way back here, when they squash down back there, would you say? Look, oh hang on a minute. The thread is slightly shorter than the old-fashioned one with no washer. So I won't wind it down too much. Maybe there. And install. So that one first, then washer. First washer, second washer. Reverse. Put some PTFE tape around it now. Put some plumbing paste. Link in the description. In a minute I'll find the plumbing paste. Well, of course it's always good to double check. I put water at the top of this. I didn't know which way around it works. So the way it works is when the arm pushes up to its fullest, that's when it's closed. Right, so as soon as that drops down, that it should come out, the water should come out. Yeah. So when it pushes up, it locks. So actually it sits this way up, okay? Don't lose this is quite floppy, this thing is. Alright, so when the ball falls, water is released, when it goes out it switches it off. It's not going to last 50 years, guaranteed, but we'll see. We need to wind that in a lot more. I just had to check, it didn't really fit. I want the copper pipe to fit snugly into this plastic pipe. It did before, and then but it doesn't fit snugly. Whoop, not showing you the camera. It doesn't fit snugly, so the seal on the outside, which is this, has got to be nice and watertight. That's where you use it. So it's on there. You see quite a few layers. Alright. I'm just wondering if it's worth. No, what? See, look how much room I've got. Very, very short. And the reason why I'm refurbishing this toilet is because there's no way I can go out and buy a toilet that looks like this. That will fit there, and there's got a side thing there. Usually I don't even think they have the side things anymore, it comes from the rear. So I will have to kind of, it'd be risky, but I'll have to kind of build a pipe that goes down and narrow a toilet from here, goes down with a shut off valve, if you know what I mean. And then just to compensate, and then figure out how the new toilet fits in the system. Right. So I've swapped this round the other way. It does fit. I put a bit of anti-seize in there, copper anti-seize in there, so it'll be easier to take off. Because I don't think this will last that long. Looking at it, it's not like the old one. It just doesn't give me that long-lasting feeling. Should be mostly out of the way. And of course, I want this as far in as possible. I'm just going to jiggle, jiggle, jiggle until it's just about right. Yep, that's as far as it'll go in. And then I'll tighten the inside. That's how I'll gauge it. Rubber washer. Really fits. You put it on first before I put the PTFE. It's okay, I'll squeeze. That's as far as it'll go in. Alright, so now I can tighten a little bit just there. Not too much, I'll start pulling it back out of the pipe. See what I'm doing? I'll tighten it a bit more. I need the nut, of course. Let's not forget that. And that side inwards. Just about fits, I think. Get it back out. So the old system didn't come with a rubber washer. I should have put the washer on before I put the PTFE tape on. That was a mistake. Now it's going to wind down the threads a bit, which is not good. I'll go for the PTFE now. So I'm just thinking probably another layer or two of PTFE on the outside. Put it on in the direction of the screw on, because when you screw it on, that's when it counts. You don't want to wind this on the wrong way, because if you screw it on, it'll undo itself. Don't want that. This is the only thing that's going to stop the leak, see, in the years to come. You just do this once in the blue moon. This ain't been done in 50 years. Right. Okay, there's that. Slic, Tite, Laco. Who knows what this would be called in years' time? But at the moment, this is what it's called. Bought this from. Most of the tools are bought from Tool Station. This gives you a watertight thread, watertight connection, and it's not permanent. So any kind of little gaps you'll deal with, pretty good stuff. PTFE as well, of course, that really does the trick. Now, it's going on, yeah. Okay, that's good. It's good so far. I shall lock this one down a bit. Now watertight seal. I better use the other spanner now. Sticking out. They just clamp onto each other. That's the idea, right? That's it, really, job done, really. Take a bit more down the inside. And that is it. Don't squeeze too hard on these seals. You'll deform them. I mean, that would do. That would do, right? So this one goes on, and that is it. Job done. Hit the like, subscribe button, please. Leave a comment. Tell me how you've got all these old systems. Can you find one of these toilets? I doubt you'll ever find one of these toilets. I've been looking. I've seen something that says classical, but then it looks classical, but it's not. You know what I mean? So this has got to go on until it's tight. There's nothing between this and. So you just got to have a little hold on to the system. Make sure you don't twist when you're tightening these up. Hold it. So this was a 25. If you've got a 25 spanner, a straight one, that's be ideal. There, look, it's rickety, yeah. Always quite fit. We're on the job now. Make sure everything's perfectly vertical. Nothing's catching, nothing. You don't have to do it too tight, just snug. As soon as it stops turning, that'll be it. All that PTFE and all that plumbing paste will do the job. Make sure the ball isn't impeded. Stopped. That's all you need. It stops. Ball's okay, it's not impeded. Now I'm going to have to adjust. See, when the ball comes out, it's not really hitting that, so I'm going to have to adjust that little pin and make it stick out a lot more. That's it, really. Thanks for watching. One last thing, make sure everything is free. There was some limescale on this side here where my hand is. I scraped that off, but then I realised that I'd angled the whole thing over to one side, and it wasn't really that free. It was like not really moving very well. So you can hear some limescale scraping there. So I'm going to get some more limescale, and I rejiggled it until it sat nice and square, vertically in other words. I'm kind of adjusting this, using my eyeball to see where the water should stop. It looks about there. Alright, so don't just, obviously check for leaks afterwards, but don't just install it and walk away. It's one really important part I forgot. This is the very last of the video, I promise you. Now, obviously I've sealed it from coming out this way, but I haven't sealed it from coming out that way. So what I need to do, and luckily when I did the second toilet, when I did that, old leather washer came out, so there should be a washer between there. Now I've got a choice between these for car sumps, copper washer and rubber washer, My guess is you'll need to tighten it a lot before it's against the copper washer, and it just doesn't seem like it's the right sort of thing to do in this case. So I'm thinking it's the rubber washer in this case. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use a pick, one of these picks, to pick out any leather washer. Level. Let's see. So misjudged the look of that. So there is a washer there. It is a copper washer. It's sort of stuck halfway on the pipe, and then interference fitted. It wouldn't have leaked. But I'm still going to stick a rubber one there. Should be better off. Okay, that rubber washer, the black one I just put on, fits nicely against there. See that? It's going to create a really nice seal. It's probably just to tighten this side over here, just to compensate, but that looks really nice now. So, next thing, put the white bolt back in, put some PTFE tape. It should be put. So what I've got to do is turn the water back on and test for leaks. Now, one very last thing, when you turn the water on the stopcock back on, just take it back to where you had it. Say it was only a quarter of a turn to tighten it, quarter turn to open it. Don't open stopcocks all the way, because they will start leaking. Just enough to get the water going, really. Right, especially the stopcock's getting on a bit, it's a bit old. Extremely one last thing. So I'll use the old one to demonstrate what I mean. Right, you see that nut there, you've got this nut on the other side of the porcelain, and you've got the edge of this, right? Okay, use the edge of that to push onto the rubber O-ring that sits against any kind of a stopper. If there wasn't a copper stopper, then you just have to use the back of the nut and a rubber washer, right? Or even a copper washer, I guess. Rubber is probably better. So adjust using these two against the porcelain until this is pushed against it. So if you want to push this further that way, you would screw this one inwards, and that would naturally force this to go that way, and then you just tighten by hand this one against there, so it sits there. So really, in effect, I didn't really have to, in effect, tighten that 25mm nut, all right, for it to be watertight. That would have been pushed against the rubber would have been pushed against the copper, so that would have created a good seal as it was, right? But you know, we just added some PTFE tape and then tightened and some plumbing paste, and then tightened the 25mm nut. So do you get what I mean? Yeah. If you was just going to rely on this 25mm nut tightening against it, and this was loose against the washer, it will leak. So adjust these two until it's pushed against the washer, rubber washer in my case. It's not going to leak there and then. Just tighten the 25mm and then it's job done. Easy as that.